Hello and welcome back to Fire Emblem Engage. We are doing the Micaiah Paralogue, and I have to say that this one kind of infuriates me. Not really because of like any, I don't know, challenge to the map or whatever, but just because I think the design is distressingly bad. Like, I know what they're trying to do in emulating 313, and I think that it doesn't really capture the feel of the map in multiple respects. I mean, one thing is that you're not really defending in the same way. Although, I mean, you can boss kill in 313 too, but it's harder. Another thing is that, like, you know, the layout of the map doesn't really capture like the way elevation works in Radiant Dawn, and also causes everything to kind of be extended out and be more spaced out than it is in Radiant Dawn, especially because units have lower movement in this game than in Tellius. The real problem is just where the starting spaces are, and I know that is somewhat faithful to Radiant Dawn, but man, it's so obnoxious. Like, this starting position up here is so bad. Like, you can't do like anything from here on turn one, like, at all. Like, unless you have 7 movement, which you're not going to have unless you have boots or Sigurd Ring. So like, you can't reposition. You can't, like, I mean, I don't know. Shove isn't even in this game, right? Like, you like, and even if you do have 7 movement here, and the only way I could reposition, you know, Marin, for example, is if she was a flyer, because, oh look, this starting position is 2 squares away from, you know, sandbags and a low wall, which means you can't reposition her over them. It's like, why? Why is it like that? The same thing is true of Ivy's spot. Again, like, it's just like, it's designed to be awful. Like, I swear. Oh, actually, sorry, I misspoke. You would need 8 movement to be able to get to the far side of this, which actually means you need 2 boots or the Sigurd Ring. Yeah, it's just, and like, okay, you know, you do that, great, and now you have this person up here who's in a very similar situation. It's a little bit better because they can, like, you know, they can help this person, whatever, but like, I don't know. I think like, I just needed to complain about that before we started, because it's so like frustrating having, like, all of the enemies are down here, right? You can probably, if you really plan for it, find a way to one turn this map. You can for sure 2 turn it. And yet, like, half your units, like, barely get to be involved. It's just, I don't know. It's really, like, especially if you're not going crazy with, you know, like, shenanigans, like staff, you know, movement staves and dancing, goddess dancing, reposition, like, stuff like that. It's just gonna, you have to, like, slowly just drag everybody into combat. And I think that it's just, like, one of the worst designs of any of the maps in this game. And most of the maps in this game are really well designed, I think, but this one, no. Okay, with all that having been said, we got our whole crew here. I did have to do a little bit more, like, Forge Engrave stuff. Well, I think just Engrave, not Forge, but so this is the Micaiah engraving. It's the Super Avoid one that I had on Seedal's weapon, and I put it on Pandreo's because I want him to enemy phase, and the extra avoid is really valuable. And fortunately, for the most part, the might decrease doesn't really matter, although I did give him a magic tonic because the enemies can take advantage of allied defense to get out of, like, two hit KO range without that. But similarly, Kagetsu's Poleaxe, I gave the Lucina engraving, also for avoid stacking, in conjunction with dual support, which gets him a lot of avoid. It would have been nice to actually do it maybe the other way around. Oh, and I also had to give Pandoreo an HP and a defense tonic so that he can survive 2 hits. He can't survive 3, but the odds that he gets hit 3 times are like pretty low. But that being said, it would have been nice to do it the other way around because this one doesn't give as much avoid, and Kagetsu, it's kind of more important for Kagetsu to avoid because there's like he can get broken because he's fighting sword enemies with this thing, but the damage nerf is too steep. I'd have had to forge this up a couple of levels to counteract that, and I didn't really want to do that because what I actually would really like to do is forge up the Revanche because the top 2 levels of that give like +4 might, and the crit is close to a killer axe, so like if I can give that to Linden, that'd be fun. But in the meantime, yeah, we just are gonna hope that Kagetsu can dodge pretty well with this setup. Anyway, so he's got a strength tonic and a speed tonic. Speed tonic he needs for the doubling with the poleaxe. Although I think this does have some weight mitigation on it, but just not enough, I guess. And then, yeah, strength to offset the might decrease from the engraving. I think... Oh, yeah, Etier is the only other one who has any tonic. She's got a strength and a speed tonic, which just lets her one round, like, one enemy, but whatever. Whatever. Yeah. So, I think that's all there is to say before we start. Oh, I did remember, or I did forget, but now remember, one other thing is I did go ahead and inherit reposition on Alir so that I can do this. Because Alir's starting position also really good and useful. Thank you. I mean, that I do understand. Like, that is very true to the original map and everything, but... Anyway, alright. Let's get you moving... And I do reposition.
Awaiting orders.
Just gonna come up here like so. We're also gonna do reposition Pandoreo. Then bring you down here.
It was foretold.
Dance. Something just occurred to me, which is I had been putting Seedall here and Etier here, but if I flip that, it might actually help me out a little bit. So I'm gonna try that and hope that it doesn't backfire on me in some strange way. Alright, so I think we've got
I will obey.
everything set up except for our attackers, then IVL. Oh, yeah, yeah. Chloe gets to do nothing of value. So yeah, let's start hitting some stuff. Or actually, wait, this isn't an attack.
Understood.
Forgot. Yeah, he's just gonna Dragon Vein over here so that we don't have to fight this guy. So it's a little... The situation here is a little wonky because, so this guy has a higher hit rate than all of these guys, and so we would prefer not to fight him. But, like, we could kill one of these guys, which would also decrease the number of enemies we need to fight on enemy phase, but, like, if we don't put down the water, then... this guy can get further up, and he's got warding stance, so we can't one around him on player phase. Maybe we could if I hadn't had to change the engraving around, but because I did, Pandoreo is not doing enough damage. He's doing, it's like +6. Yeah, so he's doing like 25 times 2 instead of, well, more than that. If he didn't have this engraving, I think he'd be doing at least 26, if not 27 times 2, but It would need to be 27. But in any case, I mean, I want to say, like, last chapter his attack was 50, so... In any case, the point is, like, this guy would be able to come up and attack up here, which we don't really want, because he wouldn't get one-rounded. And then, so, like, that means, yeah, so, I mean, that's one problem. And then the other problem is that, like, even if we come down and, like, kill, like, say, this guy and Cantor here, like, we're still in range of this guy, because we don't have Cantor Plus, unfortunately. I don't have SP for that. If we attacked him from here, we could get out of this guy's range, although this guy can still reach, but then we'd have to, like, Cantor over here. So, like, that's not, like, then that decreases the number of enemies that we're in range of for, like, party animal. And the other thing is it puts us further away from where Micaiah is going to be, and so, like, we want to be able to reach her to debuff her next turn, so, yeah. This is kind of a weird situation. Anyway, okay, so now that we've done all of that, so this guy here has Lance Breaker. That doesn't actually matter because I'm just gonna gauge Kingetsu because why not? But this Marin isn't actually going to use the Rider's Vein, even though like she could, but. She doesn't double. She's got 28 speed. They've got 27 speed. So it's not. It doesn't really do much. If, like, I don't know. I was more concerned about it. I could like inherit speed +3 onto her or something, and give her a tonic. But it turned out that, like, with the way that I wanted to set up my units, she was one space too far away to be able to attack this guy with the lance or with the Rider's Bane anyway. So it's like, whatever. Anyway, so now he's up to 136 avoid against their 160 hit. He does want to not get broken, so it's still going to be, like, dicey in terms of his ability to kill. But he's not, like, at risk of dying, really. Alright, let's get the Astra Storm in and get started on the Micaiah moving. Yeah, the best attacks for him to avoid, of course, are the earlier ones, because A, it means he's not broken, and B, it means there's room for the other guys to come in and attack. So, like, at this point... Okay, well, excellent. Okay, perfect. I was gonna say, like, you know, if, like, the second to last guy hits him, you know, it's not, like, blocking anybody else from attacking. Although it would mean that the last guy, he couldn't counterattack, obviously, but he didn't, so... As I mentioned, Pandreo just needs to avoid getting hit 3 times. And he's getting pretty close. One of the downsides of having switched from the Levin Sword to the Bolganone is it definitely takes longer to get through the Bolganone animation. Unfortunately, there's no option to turn off map animations. I would do that. I mean, they're not bad. I just, you know, at some point it's like, alright, I just want it to go boop, boop, boop. And it is nice how snappy the Levin Sword is by comparison. Good level. Magic and speed and defense, which he kind of needs. Okay, so he got hit 0 times, so those tonics put in work. Sure, I guess. Okay, it looks like swapping these two had no effect, which is great. The reason this is relevant is because, like, we're gonna set up a goddess stance and, like, it's gonna be, like, Seedall, like, potentially needs to get out of the way, depending on who we're gonna dance for and stuff. Anyway, okay, so now Kagetsu is gonna come over and take out this mage. Basically, because it's the only enemy that he could do much of anything to from where he was. I mean, I guess he could attack this guy, but it's fine. And then, I guess we might as well do this. So even though we're not going to do any damage here, we are going to get the debuff, which is nice. Alright, and now let's do this reposition. Bring you over here. And this one. And now I thought about, so what I could have done here, what we're gonna do is rescue Alir. What I could have done instead was rewarp, have Hortensia start in Chloe's position and rewarp her forward last turn, and then she could have just repositioned Alir. Because Alir was only like 1 square away from being able to reach this, I think. Right, she was like here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. But it's not clear to me that I would rather use up the rewarp staff than the rescue staff. I mean, ideally I would proc World Tree, and it wouldn't matter. But I have 2 rewarp staves with 3 uses each. I have 1 rescue with 1, and now this one went from 5 to 4, and then there's also 1 more available in the shop. So I'm thinking I probably would rather use the rescue anyway. I mean, that could be wrong. I guess maybe that will matter at some point. Probably it won't, but all right. So now, Etier. Yeah, she does indeed one round this guy, thanks to 2 tonics. Just gonna get her out of the way.
Is that a rare critter?
Us to attack with Marin. Bring her over here. And then let's have Legato come over, and I think the way that I want to do this is, so Lyndon's gonna get that and that. Oh wait, I see the problem. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, okay, that's what we needed to do. Alright, so now what we should be able to do Frigato, take out this guy as well. Oh, you know what? I just realized. I was planning to have... I mean, I guess you might get this kill. I guess I should just try it. Oh, but that still has the problem that... Oh, no, wait. Okay, yeah. So my goal here... Let me actually say what I'm thinking about. My goal here is to have Lyndon get to 2000 SP. I'm not sure if he can do it just from hitting Micaiah. Maybe that's what I should actually test first. Because if he can, then we should be good to go. Okay, not quite. Right, that was my concern. Because, like, I didn't set up to Goddess Dance for Kagetsu, which means that I can't attack twice with Lyndon and attack with Kagetsu. So if I dance for Lyndon, then Lyndon really needs to be able to take out Micaiah, because Marin's not going to be able to do it, I don't think. And I guess she comes surprisingly close. The problem is she doesn't double. Oh, in theory she could do it with the Brave Lance. Okay. Well, I suppose what we can do then is... The problem is Lyndon doesn't have any damage, so we can't really rely on him to hit a crit. How close are you now? I mean, yeah, so like if he attacks this guy, he should be able to get his SP off of that. You know, there's also the possibility that we get a chain attack off, and Marin can just kill Micaiah with chain attack support from Kagetsu. In fact, if we were going to go for that, we should have just cantered Kagetsu down this way, I suppose. But we can just try it. Yeah, okay. So that's probably good enough. Or not. Well, that... Okay. Actually, that's... What I should actually do... Oh, you're not... Yeah, Marin probably needs that extra movement to get... get the kill with... What's it, the Steel Blade? Yeah, this isn't far enough, and this probably isn't going to be far enough either. She needs to be all the way over here. Yeah, which means... Wait, what if she... 6... Okay, yeah, that's short. I guess the other thing is if this guy's dead, actually, then that's gonna cut down her damage. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think I needed to actually dance for Kagetsu, unfortunately. I didn't want to because he's over-leveled and then I wanted to give kills to other people, but I suppose what I'm going to try is I'm going to try to get the kill with Linden, and then if Linden doesn't get the kill, we'll just have to rewind that. A crit, you say? Well, I do have Chloe back there, but she can't do anything anyway. Okay, we got there. And Linden is ready to get his wrath on. Well, inheritance-wise. Yeah, anyway, I should have, if I was going to not dance for Kagetsu, I should have cantered him down, but mostly I just should have actually danced for Kagetsu. I would have had it, like, there's definitely a more reliable clear there where I, instead of goddess dancing with Marin, I do it with Kagetsu, and Kagetsu, like, for sure guaranteed 1 rounds Micaiah from full health, so all Linden has to do is poker the way that I think it was Marin did the poke. No, wait, no, it was Linden, but he could have killed the sniper instead. Yeah, that's the situation. But whatever. That we got some extra XP for Marin, so that's nice. Okay, like I said, Kagetsu's over leveled anyway, so he's not getting that much. But yeah, as I said, not a fan of the design of that map. I think, like, it's just, I mean, I did manage to get most of my units involved, but it's like, it's just frustrating, like, how little, like, if maybe the way to describe it is it feels like kind of like low agency. It's like, oh, there's like, how many different options do I have for like what I do with the units at the top? Like, well, I can move them forward and maybe I can do a reposition or something. And that's like it. It's like, and then the next turn, it's like, well, now what can I do with them? Well, I can move them forward, and maybe I can reposition or something. Like, I don't know. I just like, what were they thinking with that? I just bring, like, either bring everybody down a little bit, or like add, like, just tweak it like a little bit, or I don't know what. I mean, I'm probably overstating like how significant the reposition stuff is anyway, because like lots of people won't like play with that, but that just makes it worse, if anything, because then, like, it's just going to take forever to get your units into position. It's just going to be, like, a trudge. And then, meanwhile, the other thing is, if you want to start fighting the enemies with the units that are in range, like, you have to have, like, a pretty, like, specific setup in order to be able to do that viably, right? Or else it's like, oh, I'm going to bait one of these enemies, and now I still have all these other enemies to deal with the next turn, and I still don't have that many units that are like close by to help deal with them. It's just like, I don't know. Yeah, certainly compared to the previous chapter, or like even that one, like you don't start like in the midst of the enemies or anything, but you start like with your units together, and so you can like do stuff with them. Anyway, all right, enough complaining. At least I don't have to make these kinds of complaints about too many of the maps in this game, which is good. So yeah, thanks for watching. Next up, maybe another Paralogue, maybe the next chapter, maybe the skirmish. Once again, I do not know. But until then,